I hate for things not being to be in complete. There. Is that better? I think we're good. I think. Yep, we're good. We are good. All right. So today we are going to be talking about gamers. Would you date or marry a gamer? Before we get started, I do want to go ahead and remind you that if you have not done so already, to make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And it's pretty much that simple. So, with that being done and said, I'm going to tell you this conversation came because, for one, someone called gamers stupid or losers. Excuse me, losers. That people who are gamers are losers. So, me, as the kind of person that I am, I want to um, I want to really get down to the nitty gritty about it. They're not losers. Okay, but now explain to me why we're losers. So, I'm sitting here listening to this person tell me this, and they're like, well, they're losers because, they spend all this time on these video games. Okay, is that all? And that's kind of where I was going with it. Is that all that you have? Is there anything else that you're utilizing or saying that is making you think that gamers are losers? But it really just boiled down to them being on the video game all day long, not really taking care of responsibilities or anything like that. So that's kind of where it went when it came to that. Hey Robert, how are you doing this evening? Good to see you back. Haven't seen you in a while. If I'm having any video or audio issues, please let me know so that I can correct it ASAP. Because this time I got a backup plan. So anyways, the thought of, well, gamers are losers. Me being the person of perspective and kind of like going on both sides, I'm like, well, for one, not all people who play video games are going to be losers. Okay, so then me diving into my technicalities, I'm like, well, what's a loser? What would you consider a loser? Okay, so losers are people who don't take care of their responsibilities. Losers are, they really don't have any goals in life. You have young kids who they don't really know what they want to be when they grow up, and that's fine. That's like completely different than somebody who's a little bit more up in age and they just don't really have anything going for them. They either have a job and they don't really care what job it is, or they don't have a career path. And I'm not even going to say that all people should have career paths, but a lot of people do. And as you get a little older, you should start finding um, you should start finding yourself. You have to start saying, okay, well, like me, for instance, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to be a paramedic. I wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to be everything you could think of in the world because everything I saw, I wanted to do it. I'm like, yep, I want to do it. But as I got older, I realized I went to school for psychology. Don't want to do that because I'm not trying to take on too many people's issues. Don't want to be a paramedic because I can't even stand the sight of an ambulance without getting this thing in my throat that just makes me want to just cry every time I see an ambulance. Nope, not doing that. Not being a police officer because I am the life expectancy for a police officer is 35, and I really wasn't trying to get in the middle of that kind of drama. So decided I didn't want to do that. It all boiled down to I wanted to be in management, so I was in management. And then I just turned it into, it was like, you know what, I don't want to work for nobody. I can't work for people because I always ended up being the boss. the owner would walk in, and I'd be telling the owner, this is why your business is doing this, this, and this. So I just said, forget it. I'm just gonna own my own businesses. And but not everybody has that. They go through that. So I don't necessarily think that people who game or choose to game, are losers. And I don't think that the word gaming itself is what makes them a loser. If they're a loser, it's not because they're playing a video game. It's more of on the lines of they have no self-discipline or no self-control of ending the game. They're not taking care of responsibilities, and even if a person is single, they still have responsibilities. They still have to take care of themselves, and if they messed around and had kids, they still have kids to take care of. So gamers, they still have responsibilities, and it's just a matter of, are they going to take care of that? I'll spit it a million times. Are they marriage material? Well, again, it goes back to, what are they doing? Are they taking, because you get men who, and this woman, she directed this comment at men, and she must be around men that just play video games all day long until the early morning, and then don't have anything else left to do with their life. But hey Dwight, how you doing? So it's amazing that people would just automatically just be like, well, guys are losers that play video games all day long, because you have men who will do that. They'll play video games all day long, but people don't realize there are gamers who make six-figure income because they're playing these video games, and then they go into like a championship, and then they win all this money. And so sometimes people can make gaming their career. So the whole point of this was to kind of say, well, how do people feel about that? Because then I had people coming in like, would you ever, I'm like, well, would you ever marry or be in a relationship with a gamer? And one person was like, nope, because I was in a relationship with one and they become violent. Okay? So they become violent. Okay, we get that. I can understand that. So it makes you wonder, like, why people assume that gamers are losers, because not all gamers play violent games. She was like, oh no, they'll throw the remote at the TV, break TVs, throw the remote at people. They get really mad. So you're just like, I mean, but then it stems back to this. Is a person marriage material? Because just because a person is a man, or just because it's a woman, it doesn't mean that they have the material or the not necessarily the abilities, but the capabilities to do what married people have to do. Married people don't just sit around and just be like, hey, we're just married. No, it doesn't work like that. When you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, it has to be, and I'm definitely against the whole 50-50 thing. Marriage is definitely 100-100. You have to give everything that you have in that marriage. You can't just decide that you're going to get to 50% and be like, I'm done. I hope you bring in your 50, because you can't work like that. That's definitely not working as a team, and that's definitely not looking out for one another. So you can't do that. So with that being said, are gamers losers? People who game, are they people that you could see yourself marrying? So we're gonna start with saying this. Gamers are what? Who are gamers? Gamers are people that play video games, whether it's on a TV, a console, or whether it's on a desktop. When I think of someone who is a gamer and a loser, it's gonna be those people who are slobs about it. The people who sit there and, like, that's all they do all day long is play a video game. They have no life, and not even a life, but they have no purpose. They have no purpose. So they have no reason for being, no reason for they have no job, or even if they have a job, they're barely there. They don't really do anything else. They're the people, even girls, not even men, even girls do it. Even girls will even girls will be gamers. And I know there was this one thing that said, are you if a man comes home from working a really long hour, really long, shift, the house is a completely pigsty. Well, there's this woman, and she's sitting there playing a video game or on a phone or something. She's probably playing a video game of some sort, probably like Tetris or something like that. I made a joke about this while I'm talking about gamers, because I have my husband and my 3 boys who are in the room, and all I hear is them playing this Madden video game, and I'm pretty sure they're probably in there either playing the computer or playing Carcino or Gavin or somebody. They're in there playing. So, which I just seen Carcino, so probably not him. But they're just in there hooping and hollering and yelling, and and I can understand why some people may think that certain video games will bring the anger out in you. They do. Sometimes they do. Um, Sometimes they don't. Sometimes sometimes it actually is a therapeutic method to play a video game. But then, like Madden has a start and a stop. It has a starting point. It has a stopping point. Um, it's not like it's I don't know. It's not like it's gonna go all day long, like GTA goes all day long, or like Call of Duty all day long. That's all it is all day long they're playing this video game. And they never really stop. I know there was this game a couple of years ago called SIDS or something like that. And I guess you live your life, or you do something like build houses or build careers or whatever, but it was like living a life. And I mean, I can get why people would say certain things, but then again, you go back to, is a gamer marriage material? So, with that, I'm going to say this, and I've said this a million times. For men, in order to be marriage material, you have to be able to be a leader. You have to be able to lead your household. You have to be able to understand that the two things that make a man, or make a man marriage material, is him understanding that he has to provide and protect. So if you're not providing because you're playing video games, and I'm not even saying the ones that are working and playing video games, because there are some people who actually will go in and they'll try out video games, and that's their job. We're not talking about those kind of people. We're talking about the people who are literally just wasting a bunch of time. They're not being productive. They're not putting in any other effort to really do anything with playing the video game. It's really just a purpose of killing time. We don't really have time to be killing nowadays. We really have to focus on the things that are important. And if you're a man and you're the head of the household, you have to understand that your job is to provide. Your job is to protect. If you're in the middle of a video game and somebody breaks into your house, are you even going to hear them, especially if you have headphones on all day long? No, you can never say when you're not going to, when that is going to happen and when it's not, so you really can't control that. But you do have to make adjustments so that if that does happen, you at least can hear. You don't hold your headset halfway off or something. So a man that has those thoughts in his mind will be thinking of those. So if he knows he's supposed to be providing and protecting for a family, he can't protect them if he can't hear. He can't protect if he can't, if he's unaware of his surroundings. So a man that's sitting around playing a video game all day, it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very, not mesmerizing, but the game itself is like you get in it and you stay in it. And it almost becomes your surrounding. It almost becomes who you are as a person. Until, you snap back to reality and you're like, oh, I live here now. So as a man playing a video game, if you want to be marriage material, you definitely cannot spend the entirety of your day on a video game. Every now and then, that's fine. You know, when if you have a YouTube channel and that's what you do, that makes more. It's understanding for you to be playing a video game, but you also don't want your video game to be. I mean, your video to be lasting 2 and 3 hours because you're sitting here playing, you know, a video game. Um, because YouTube does, once you get monetized, YouTube does pay for you to have ads and things in those videos, then it's not completely counterproductive if you're playing a video game for your YouTube channel. But again, that goes back to you providing. When you're providing for your family, you are being productive. So that would be, I want to know why this is. That would be why. Hold on. Anyways, that would be the part of that would be the part of a man being actually productive. A man who's not being productive is a man that's, like I said, a slob. I think of a slob, a man who just sits around all day long, calls everybody to bring something to him while he's very capable of getting it himself. But he doesn't want to because he's so stuck in this video game. He gets so much into it that he becomes angry, that he becomes emotionally distressed by the video game, and he starts throwing things, breaking everything in the house. See, I'm not into that. If you're going to be tearing up my stuff, I promise you that game's gone. I can't have you tear up your game. Don't tear up my stuff. Tear up the game. Don't tear up the stuff in the house. Tear up your game. Because you tear up my stuff, that's probably what I'm going to go for. And I'm probably going to cut some cords and things because I just can't have that kind of chaos and hostility in the house. I just can't have it. And if I have to be more mature than you as a man are going to be, then you're not marriage material. Because a woman, and this goes for women, you don't need a man that you're going to have to babysit. You don't want to have a man who you're going to have to be like, hey, you can't do that. This is stuff that men have to know how to do. Men have to know how to, they have to know how to make those decisions. They have to know how to have that self-control and that self-discipline to be able to stop when it's just too much. But if he has to have his woman coming and telling him, you know, you need to stop. You kind of need to chill out. Okay, I'm not your mama, and I'm not trying to be your mom. But so women, but women will do it. They'll go get men like that, and then I hear it in my ear. Miss Casey and Miss Charmaine, why are these men always on these video games all day long? Baby, don't even complain to me because you're putting up with it. You tolerating it. I just told somebody yesterday, people are only going to treat you the same. People are going to treat you, they're going to do to you what you allow them to do. Pretty much, that's what I'm. People are going to do to you what you allow them to do. If you allow them to do stuff like that, they're just going to keep doing it. But if you show them that you have a problem with what they're doing, then they're going to rethink it. So you don't want to, women, you don't want to go get you a man who is so stuck into some video games that he's not going to go out and provide for you in the household. And you're the one that has to go out and get a job, and you solely work while he plays on the video game. He's not being productive. He's not bringing in any money. My husband asked me a long time ago. He said, when a man doesn't have a job, how does that make a woman feel? And I told him, I said, I don't care if a man's not working, if he's trying to look for a job and maybe something has happened, if that man is being productive. Meaning that if he's not bringing in money or he's not bringing in like stuff like that, he's doing other things that are productive. Maybe he's going out and looking for a job, or maybe he's doing side work or something like that that's bringing in enough money. Hey, Jenny. Oh, girl, thank you. I'm trying. You can't. Those kind of men are not marriage material. If a man is not productive, if a man is not, if he's not doing what he needs to be doing as a man, he's wasting time. And that's what video games do. They waste time. Now I'm not saying that he should always be doing something that's productive, because that's unfair and that's unreasonable. They don't stop us women from going shopping when we want to go shopping, or going window shopping, or killing time. Men don't stop us from doing that. So we're not going to want to stop them from doing something that's fun for them. And when you have a man who's really taking care of his family and he's productive and he's playing some video games every now and then, that's not a loser. That doesn't make him a loser, and it definitely doesn't make him not marriage material. Because, like I said in the beginning of this video, there's two things that men have to make sure they're doing to be marriage material, and that's to provide and to protect. So if they're doing that and then they're just having this little, fun thing to do, they just play a video game, and that's their thing, it doesn't make them losers, for one. It definitely does not make them not marriage material. And when this woman said gamers are losers, all gamers are just losers, it kind of, because I'm one of those people that when somebody says stuff like that, I step back and I'm just like, I start analyzing it, like technicalities, like, okay, what's a loser, what's a gamer, how does that make sense? Which was the whole point of this channel, was because we hit both sides of perception, why people might feel this way, why people might feel that way. Which is why I always say I'll catch you on the flip side, because the flip side of things is the opposite of whatever it is that we have. Whatever we're talking about, there's an opposite side to that. There's pros and there's cons. And when she said that, I said, well, you know what? Jenny says, I get annoyed with Chris playing sometimes, but he busts his butt working 60 hours a week. It is his wind down time. Yes, and I know how you feel. Like I said before, I don't know if you were on here when I said that, but all of them are in the room in there, and they're playing Madden. I don't know if they're playing Gavin. I don't know if they're playing Carcino. Well, they're not playing Carcino because Carcino's in the car right now. They're all in there gaming, like all of them. And so we have that time when they're like, well, it's okay, go play video game. But that's another thing that men have to realize. I think I've already I already recorded and dropped a video about men don't listen. And my husband was like, men do listen. I was like, no, men don't listen. They hear you, which is why I said in one of my posts that you don't want to talk to a man while they're playing a video game, or while they're watching sports, because it's just not the time. We have to pick a time and a place. But men have to also understand that we as women are emotional creatures, and we crave attention, words of affirmation, we crave affection, and we need that. So sometimes, I know us as women, we'll just be like, oh, okay, they're playing a video game. But when it starts to get to the point when that's what you're doing all the time, we start to feel like, wait a minute, when are you going to have time for me? Now, we're letting you play this game, but there's some times when, we want to feel like you cherish us, that we're special to you, that you mean stuff to us. But when you playing a video game all day long, you're just like, okay, when do I come in? Time and a place for everything, but when do I go ahead and jump in and say, hey, you need to go ahead and cut the game. The game got the, When do you do that? And it can be. I know one time I walked in the bedroom and I was talking to my husband, because I run my business. I have two businesses that I'm running, and then I find time for my YouTube channel. On top of that, we started Business Center in our photography business. So now it's photography and graphics and stuff like that, because I'm a graphic artist. And so now Eric started his barber business. So now he's doing the whole barbering situation. So now we got all this stuff going on. I walked in there one day and I'm talking business to him. I'm a businesswoman. I'm always on this, okay, where we're putting this and that. Walk in there and he's playing a video game, which I don't really care, as long as you're listening to me and talking to you. And I'm talking to him, and his answer, I had finished talking, his answer to me was, oh, why you threw that ball? And I'm like, really? That I said, are you even listening to me? Well, baby, I'm playing a game. So we have to remember that that's probably the worst time to ask them serious questions, is when they're playing the video game, or when they're watching sports, or when they're doing something. But on the flip side, men have to also understand that we love that you have a hobby that doesn't involve going in the streets, hanging out with your boys, and staying out all late. We love that you have something that you can do at home, but at the same time, you're like, find the time for me as much as you find the time for them games. Sometimes men, okay, so I just made a video about being feminine. And one of the things that was mentioned in that video was that as women, we have to be a man's peace. So we don't want the man's peace to come from playing video games, or we want to also be his peace. So we want to make him feel like he can be around us. And men, this is the messages to you. When you do that kind of stuff, when you always resort to playing video games or going to playing basketball or going to, it shows us that that must be what makes you, that must be your peace. That must be what soothes you. That must be your, your cool, calm, cool, and collect kind of times. But we as women want to be that. So same thing is, us women, we have to work on that. We have to be like, okay, so we want to be the man's peace. We want to, but at the same time, guys, you guys got to give women a chance. You have to give them the opportunity to be your peace. You can't just be like, oh, well, you know, she's going to start. There's always room for growth. And we as women, we try. We get better as time goes in being feminine and being your peace. But kind of digressing, but going back to what I was saying, it doesn't mean that people who game are losers, or that they don't make good marriage partners or relationship partners. I would say that people who are slobs about it and who sit around all day and they literally sit on the sofa and there's like a dent inside of the sofa where they have sat all day, or they stink because they won't get up and take a bath, or they won't go anywhere. It's always, hey, can you bring me something? Bring me a soda out of the refrigerator. And you're just like, ew. That's loser. That's right there. That's a low life. That's right there. That's gross. And it's the same men that finally come out of their little slump and they're like, hey, I want to get me a girlfriend. Well, you're disgusting. That's disgusting. And then they're like, well, I don't know why women don't like me. It's not because you're a gamer. It's not because you game. It's not because you play Call of Duty and GTA or whatever other games out there. Whatever it is, it's not that. It's that the time that you spend playing the games, your priorities when playing the game. I mean, it's like your priority to play a video game is here. But as women, you want to be in a relationship with a woman. Your job is to provide for your family. You're the head of the household. It's your job to lead. It's your job to show women that you can lead, because men, I'm sorry to tell you, don't get in a relationship with a woman who's trying to lead you. It's not going to go over well, and you might end up gaming your life away. And you know that it is what it is. And however, there's nothing you're really going to be able to do except be single for a long time and get your stuff together. And when you don't, you're going to be GTAing it and whatever else your entire life. I'm not saying to those who do game and you game for a long time, if you're making money off of gaming, we're not talking to you. We're not talking to you because, again, I'm using that word again, productive. Men who are productive. And this is not just men, this is women too, because there's a lot of women gamers. There's men and women that game together. Look, I'll play the video game just to be playing it, but I'm going to lose every time. Now, when I was younger, I was the bomb at Madden, like years ago. But I can't play all this new stuff. I've lost the, when you don't use it, you lose it. I don't play video games anymore. I have other things that I'm doing, other ventures that I have, other projects. Super creative. So there might be stuff, a project in my house. I might want to build something or redo a room or go in my yard and tear it up and put it back together or something. So I'm always having something to do. But I'll go in the room and I'll sit there and I'll play video. All right, let me get the sticks. Just kind of sound cool. And I'll go and I'll, play a little game, and then, I'm going to lose. And they're like, okay, just give them back. I don't care. I'll throw like 20 interceptions, fumble the ball. And I don't care, because, like, they get so mad when they're losing. They get so mad when they throw an interception. Like, what? Yeah, they blame it on they blame it on the game. They blame it on the sticks. They blame it on the buttons. And that's how bad it is. They blame it on everything other than what it needs to be blamed on. Like, it's never their fault. It's always a technical problem. They threw the ball. They didn't. It's always a technical. But there has been times when they pushed the button and it was supposed to throw it and it didn't. But I don't care. I go in there. I'll just play with them. But guys, you guys have to remember that you can't be so stuck in it. I know that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I want to say GTA is a one-player game unless you're playing people online, and I think is it gosh, what is it? Call of Duty. I have a brother. He's like he's my best friend, but he's like my brother. He plays. I think that's what it is. Call of Duty, and he plays with his friends. But I don't think he can sit next to and play like that. I don't think he can. I don't know. I don't know. My son likes racing. I'll play racing. I'm totally that one. But I like the one with the steering wheel because I can drive. I like that. I'm not with all the steering with sticks kind of thing. Driving a stick is one thing. Steering with sticks, no. I'm hitting barriers. I'm hitting barricades. I'm hitting everything. Trees. I'm starting over. My car's flashing. I'm good. But it doesn't make you a bad person. It does not make you exactly, Jenny. It does. It does not make you not marriage material. Um, for women, if you're a gamer, what makes you marriage material is, again, like men, your priorities. Where are you putting your priorities? Women have to remember that our primary role is to take care of the house. That's our primary role. Like, our secondary role is, we'll go to the hey honey. Yeah, you hear me in here talking to you about talking about you in this game. I hear y'all. um but what makes women is their priority. So our job is the house, and our secondary, like if our husband wants us to go work, or if we need some extra money, he's not making quite enough for to maintain the household, then of course us women, we'll get a job, we'll start a business, whatever we need to do to go ahead and make those ends meet for our husband, until he gets whatever he needs to get done. But our primary purpose is our house. So if all our stuff's done and we want to go jump on the game and waste some time, that's a choice. But it doesn't make you. That's not what makes you not being marriage material. What makes you not being marriage material is when you neglect all of your primary responsibilities. You don't cook. You don't clean. You don't do anything. You don't bring any money. You don't. You're really nothing. You don't do anything. You just play video games. You play video games so much that the sticks are wore off. Like, you're not a woman that a man is gonna want to be with, and definitely not one he's gonna want to take serious. So you would be considered a loser. So I get that. So when the lady was saying, gamers are losers, I kind of took it to, I was like, look, how are we gonna deal with this? Now my mom said to me she would never be with another gamer because he was violent and he would take the sticks and he would throw them. Now when that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video about self-control and about self-discipline. When you're playing a video game and you're so into it that it touches you emotionally, especially for a man. Anger is a really masculine trait. Not a trait, but it's a really masculine emotion. Has a lot to do with testosterone, is why I'm saying that. So I can understand why men would get upset, but the thing is if you're playing a video game and you're so into this video game that it makes you mad, and you start throwing things and you start breaking things, and it's just that bad for you, you need to stop playing video games. You men ask women to be your peace, but then you go play a video game that creates anger in you. So that goes back to what I said in the beginning about men being leaders. You have to know how to make decisions. You have to know when to stop. Man, you have to know when to say, you know what, this is not working. That's part of managing and leading a household. No, it doesn't necessarily have to do with games, but the point of it does. A man that can't even decide that enough is enough with these video games. They're making me angry. They're not giving me peace. I can't do anything. I'm just going nuts. And you can't say, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop. If you can't make that decision, you have no self-discipline and you have no self-control. There's going to be a problem. That's going to cause you to not be marriage material, because you can make all the money you want in the world and be the most rude, disrespectful, pathetic man that there is. Because there's a lot of men out there, drug dealers make all kinds of money. Oh, they make all kinds of money. But boy, I just did a video about men being what makes a man a high value man. High value man is not solely just because you make a lot of money. That has nothing. That has this much to do with the value of a man. And I'm going to be doing a video about the value of a woman, because I hear women say, "I'm high value." Are you? Are you high value? Are you okay? I can run businesses. I got this job. I got this degree. Continue, so what? So I'm gonna be doing a video about that. Keep in tune for that. But as far as people who game being losers, no. Gaming itself doesn't make you a loser. Gaming itself doesn't make you a bad person or not marriage material. Gaming, how you use it, or how do you utilize the games, how much time you spend in it, it's really about how your self-control and your self-discipline when it comes to these video games. Don't be breaking stuff. If you can't handle yourself playing a game, stop playing them. Stop playing them. Period. And it's not men, it's women too. There's plenty of women that do the same thing. There is plenty of women who play video games too. And I don't know what kind of games women play, but I mean, I'm sure they're playing. I was hoping somebody come on here and tell me what kind of video games girls play. Madden, I don't know, boxing. Look, I know what kind of games I play. Mario Kart, Sonic the Hedgehog, I'll play him. But these are all like old games. I'm just an old person, I guess. I don't play this new stuff. Like I will play. It was on Nintendo 360, and it was not Mario Kart, but it was like Mario. And you had to go through the levels. Now I'll play that. But see, those games they're competitive to a point, but you're not competing with anybody. They're kind of just, you have to go collect things. But when you get into these games where it becomes extremely competitive, because being competitive and competing is also a masculine trait. So for women to be playing that, you're igniting the testosterone that's in you, and it's forcing you to be really masculine. It is what it is. But I'm not telling girls to just stop playing them boy games. I'm not saying that. If you want to play a boy game, so be it. It's all about your self-control. Saying, hey, it's time for me to stop doing this. It's time for me to take a break and go take care of my responsibilities. If you're not taking care of your responsibilities, that's where your problem is. That's the problem, and that's the main problem. And again, it's for men too. Being a marriage material is all about knowing your role, knowing your responsibilities, prioritizing your responsibilities, and doing that. If you choose to play video games on your free time, great. Men, don't forget, us women love to be loved and given attention to. Your video game is not going to love you, and it's definitely not going to give you the things that please you at nighttime. Trust me. I don't want to hear that. We can argue about that. We can definitely argue about that. But that game is not going to do that for you. When that game is broke, who are you going to run to? Your wife. So you want to make sure that you're making time for your wife. Yes, we are annoying sometimes. Get over it. We try to be, sometimes we get stressed out. Sometimes we need somebody to just vent to and complain to. That's why I say listen. Men have to learn to listen. But gaming does not make them bad people. You just have to time management. You have to use your time wisely. So I think that's going to be about the end of it. I try not to be too overwhelming. I try to get my point across and just go with it. Um, but with that being said, I am going to go ahead and remind you that if you have not done so already, to subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. There is a little box right below the video. It says subscribe. If you hover over that video, if you're on a desktop and you hover over that video, it'll actually pop up with the word subscribe, and you can subscribe like that. It's like super simple, super easy. And if also, you could go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And make sure that you like and comment. And don't forget to like this video and share it with your family and friends and anybody that you can, that could benefit from it. Also, I want to make sure that we shout out a few of our friends that also are YouTubers and content creators. We have Jenny Raw, Real and Unfiltered. She has a very wide variety of things she talks about. She also started a new movie club, so that's super cool. And I really enjoy the movie club because I'm not a movie person, and it kind of forces me to watch movies because I never know what to watch. And then I can, actually comment on the videos. So Jenny Raw, Real and Unfiltered, so you can find her on YouTube. We also have Just Chris Gaming, who is a gamer, which is her husband. And so that's super fun to watch him play multiple different kind of video games and just kind of watch what he's doing. And we also have Carcino for Life, who is a really big supporter. He has like three different channels. But Carcino for Life, he talks about marital problems and, all kinds of like marriage woes and things like that. So go check those out if you haven't already. With that being said, y'all, we are going to catch y'all on the flip side.